Hello, welcome to UOWTV, The Spot. Today I'm joined by Harvey from UOW Motorsport. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. So, UOW Motorsports, we've been following you guys for a while.
Yep.
Can you tell us a bit about yourselves?
Yeah, so we participate in the Formula Student competition, so global comp, about 300 odd unis. They all compete. They build an open-wheeled race car, so whether it's petrol, electric, autonomous, they come together across the world to compete. So we compete in the Australasian one. It's about 30 odd unis from around here. Head down to Melbourne in December and race against each other. But yeah, we get the whole year to build the car and then see how it goes at the end.
So, yearly builds,
Yep.
new car every year.
Yeah.
This year's, is it different than last year's?
Yeah, very different.
How can you tell me a little bit of details on how different it is?
Yeah, so it's all new aerodynamics package, so that's a big one. So improving on what we had last year. We've replaced our high voltage battery with one that's a bit bigger to accommodate those changes. New chassis, a lot higher performance, a lot stiffer. So that should give the drivers a bit more feedback when they're driving. And as well as some suspension changes that are coming through and some changes in our brakes. So swapping over to mountain bike brakes of all things. So
Mountain bike brakes?
Yep, they do the job. They're lightweight, so we're happy with them.
So you have a lot of members in your society?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, they're all really hardworking guys. So
Yep.
they're a pretty good group of people. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. So does everybody have an assigned role in making this car?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more. There's a few people who have like official titles, so our system managers, executives like myself, and then everyone else they don't have official titles, but they all have a pretty important role to play, and they all get to work on pretty cool stuff. So we're not a big team by all means, but being the size that we are, everyone sort of gets to work on the car, whether that be in our computer room designing stuff, manufacturing and then assembling the car and getting to test it.
So tests are underway, I've heard.
Yes, they
how
are.
How are they going so far?
Yeah, good. So we're still testing the old car. So last year's car, Molly. So she's just up at Sydney today doing some wet weather runs and getting our drivers used to that weather because we had some rain last year, so good chance to test it out. But yeah, it's the previous year's car, the data collection platform for the subsequent years. So we're using Molly to get a whole bunch of different data on the suspension, the aerodynamics of the car, how it handles, how we can better improve. We take that data and then we take it into this year's car to hopefully make a better product.
Has Molly competed?
Yes, Molly has. So Molly went down to Melbourne last year. So she was a pretty good car, came 7th overall. Second in our endurance event, which is a really great achievement to see, and third in the efficiency event. So 7th
overall?
Yeah.
On how many cars was she racing against?
So we were up against probably about 23 or 24 universities in the electric category down there. So the result that we got was really a testament to the team's hard work throughout the year, but also we saw that all the other teams had lifted their game. So for us, being a small team, there's a few other small teams out there, so it's great to see us being able to punch on with the bigger guys.
Yeah. So do you feel like you need to innovate every year more and more just to keep up with the other unis?
In some ways, yeah. So you try and figure out where you can make improvements from, where you can change parts, get more performance out of the car, but also it's, you've got to keep it simple, stupid with a lot of things. Don't want stuff to break. Reliability is probably the biggest factor when you're designing stuff. Most cars will die during the endurance event or throughout the week that we're down there. So if you can avoid having that happen, you're more likely to get more points and score highly. But also if you're participating in the static events, so where we get judged on the decisions that we've made, if you prepare for that well and you've come in and you know your stuff and you've got all the data there and you've informed, every decision you've made has been an informed choice, you're more likely to do well. So that's what we're working towards this year. And we started that last year. And this year sort of hopefully improving upon that.
So what would you say are the most significant changes you've done to the car that sort of like altered its performance and its time trials?
The last few years, the aerodynamics of the car, definitely a big one for us. So last year we had a thesis student do our under tray and some other aerodynamic devices for us. That was a really great improvement to see. Car definitely improved on the track. This year we're looking to improve upon that again. That's coupled with a bigger battery, adds a bit more weight, but it means we can push the car a lot harder and have a more aggressive aerodynamics package to generate more downforce, especially in the corners. And also we're looking at ways that we can improve our powertrain performance and suspension performance to give the team a lot more adjustability in the way that we set the car up for different events, because that can play a really big role in how well you do. So they're probably the big changes.
Yeah. Did you have any inspiration for making this build?
Yeah, we take inspiration from all around the place, you know, other teams. You look at F1 every now and again, different category of racing, they're going probably 3 or 4 times as fast as we are. But you have a look to them to see sort of what they're doing and how you can incorporate that and those principles. And yeah, we often look to other teams to see what they've done. We look overseas to teams in Europe and America to see how they've handled some of the issues that we've encountered. But also a lot of the guys, it's just down to figuring out the solution, just hashing it out. You know, they might come up with something unique. Every car is different. You know, you come down to Melbourne, no car looks the same.
Yep.
So it's a really great way for us to, you know, you take inspiration from elsewhere, but often it's down to yourself to figure out those problems. And you do all the testing and the validation to make sure that your part's not going to break, or your aerodynamics package works well and your suspension's not going to bend.
Yeah. And would you say the global cars differ from ours significantly?
Yeah, so over in Europe, they're probably, they're given a lot more access to resource. They've got a big car industry over there. They've got a big manufacturing industry. So those cars, you know, they're the cream of the crop in terms of their performance on and off on the track, especially at their competition. So one of the teams over there holds the fastest 0 to 100 time for a land vehicle. And so, you know, you compare Europe to over here, you know, I suppose that we're facing 2 different, very different sort of problems, at least. The Australasian comp's still extremely competitive, probably one of the most competitive comps around the world. But yeah, the difference being in terms of, you know, like money is a big factor, but also access to resources. We don't have a car industry here anymore, whereas over in Europe they do, and it's pretty booming. So they can get access to some really good resources where we have to rely on people who've worked in those industries or try and find information elsewhere. But yeah, like the problems and the differences in how the cars perform. You know, our weather is quite different, so we have to be pretty prepared for, you know, extremely hot weather or absolute just massive rain or wind or anything like that. Whereas, you know, over in Europe, perhaps it's probably just a bit more drizzly and sunny. So
Yeah, I suppose like all over the place here.
yeah, it is.
But would you like to say anything else to the viewers watching the spot about the motorsports?
Yeah, so probably just if you guys are keen to follow us, check us out at UOW Motorsport, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube as well. So we post there pretty regularly, and you can see what we're up to. And if you're keen next session, you can join the team and get to know us and help build the car.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking time in your day to have a chat to us.
No worries, all good.
That was Connor Harvey from UOW Motorsports. Thank you for joining the spot this week. We will see you next week.